والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى إطرته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Today we have reached the 8th night of the holy month of Ramadan, and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whatever we have managed to do so far in this month, He accepts it from us, inshallah wa ta'ala, and that He gives us the opportunity and the inspiration to take the best we can from this month. And as we shall see, this is a month in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called us as His guest. And there are many things that we can draw parallels between this idea of dhiyafatullah, being guests of Allah, and what we can acquire in this month. First of all, there is an idea of New Year we have. In many cultures we have, for example, the Gregorian New Year, 1st of January. Then we have the Hijri New Year, which is in Muharram, or we have the Shamsi New Year, which begins in Nowruz, which is the vernal equinox, the day of the year where day and night is equal in length. Many different days which are called beginning of the year. And the reason for many cultures actually celebrating it is because there is an idea that it's a new beginning. Let us do away with the old year and we start afresh. We draw a line under the things that were done. Now there is a sense of optimism, there is a sense of new opportunity and turning a fresh page. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he was introducing the month of Ramadan, he said, and this shahr huwa awwalus sana, it is the beginning of the year. Also in another hadith from Imam Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, that month of Ramadan is the beginning of a new year. So this is an idea that Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have talked about. That is the beginning of the year. So the question that arises then is, well, beginning of what exactly? A new year for what? So ulama say that it is a new year for islah, for reforming, for changing, for improving. So for example, in this month we take stock and we say, oh, certain things have been happening the whole of last year. They are not an ideal situation. I did not do anything about it. Time also went. But now in this month of Ramadan, with the barakat of this month, as we shall see, and with the different things that are happening, people are attending mosque, there is more sense of inspiration. I will do something, whether it is small or whatever. I will add this to my life. I will remove this thing from my life, which is not correct, and some sort of islah. Or improvement. Improvement means what? Means that I am doing something, but I am going to do it better. I have been praying, but I will now pray on time, masalan. Within the adhan time, I will pray. Or I have been praying, but now I will pray with more consciousness. Or I have been praying, but now I will pray with adhan and iqama and taqibat and tasbih. I will make those extra 10 minutes available. These is reformations, these resolutions, according to Ahlul Bayt, should be made in this month. So that there is some change, there is a growth, there is a difference at the end of the month. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam would say, beware, that your month of fasting cannot be the same as your month of eating. Or your day of fasting cannot be the same as your day of eating. The fast is meant to encourage some sort of reform and change. and transformation, inshallah wa ta'ala. What I want to talk about in the next couple of days is first and foremost to recognize that there is some sort of change has to happen. We cannot enter and exit the month the same way, because then we have not taken proper advantage of what is available. So today I want to talk about the opportunities that exist. And tomorrow, inshallah wa ta'ala, as to concrete steps we can do. And I will suggest several, maybe half a dozen. It is for every one of us to choose from that, maybe one, maybe two. And these are all based on advice given in the Quran and Hadith about how a person can take tangible steps to change their lives. These are practical things. They're not very difficult to do, but they can be implemented with the barakah of this month, inshallah wa ta'ala. That is for tomorrow. Opportunities are many. I believe Sheikh Abbas had already talked about some of the du'as, and he discussed the sermon that Rasulullah gave, or part of the sermon that he gave, 1 month of Sha'ban. If you have not read this sermon, I would strongly suggest that in the month of Ramadan, read this sermon. This is the sermon where he stands at the end of month of Sha'ban to introduce to the people the month of Ramadan. In that, if you realize what has come and you have iman, that what I'm hearing, I believe in it. Because it is not just hearing for the sake of saying, mashallah, look at what Prophet said, and mashallah, what a beautiful. It is believing. And if you believe in that, then you would make time in this month actually to grab these things. But it is about belief. Amongst the many things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us in this month is He has invited us. وَهُوَ شَهْرُ دُعِيتُمْ فِيهِ إِلَىٰ ضِيَافَةِ اللَّهِ, the Prophet says. This وَجُعِلْتُمْ فِيهِ مِنْ أَهْلِ كَرَامَةِ اللَّهِ. It is a month in which you have been invited to be God's guest. Now, that's very different from just going to a place. When you are invited, there is something special. If you get a letter with your name to come somewhere, you know that there will be some intizam to expect you. There will be some arrangement expecting you there. You can't just come and everybody ignores you, because you have been invited. That is why you are an honored guest. Your needs will be catered for. You do not have to come with anything to prove anything. You have been invited. You are special, and you have been invited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means your presence in this month is with honor. Angels welcome you. And so we have in hadith that there's many hadiths, some of them from this hadith itself, the gifts that you give to your guest is proportional to your generosity, is proportional to your ability even. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's generosity and ability, they know no bounds. That is why you hear things that sometimes you think, can this be true? Of course it is true. It is about your iman. Can it be true that every breath you take is ibadah, is tasbih? How many breaths do I take in this month? Allah saying it is all tasbih. Can it be true that when I do nothing and sleep, Allah says that is ibadah? Yes, because you are His guest and He is the host, and He has no limits to what He does for the people. Right? But it is belief. If, brothers, your sleep is ibadah, imagine waking, what you can do. Imagine how much you can achieve with small things in this month in terms of action. And we will talk about it inshallah tomorrow. In another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, inna lillahi ma'ida. Allah has a table. He has a table that He sets out. On it are things that eyes have never seen, and ears have never heard, and minds have never imagined. And no one is allowed to approach this ma'idah except the one who comes fasting. But the one who is fasting is welcomed into this table. The divine banquet is open now. And we shall see, inshallah wa ta'ala, what kind of things there are there. Some of them which we'll never understand, but some of them have been explained to us by Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala. The Quran says other nations have fasted. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing us to this month with love. People have a love-hate relationship with the month of Ramadan. When it is coming in Sha'ban, everybody doesn't want to talk about it. A bit like death. But it comes to everyone. Doesn't mean if you don't talk about death, you're not going to die. This month comes. And when it comes, people grit their teeth and they get on with it because they are mu'minin. So they are not going to not fast. But in their heart, there always is some sort of disquiet, at least in the beginning, by saying things like, what is God getting from this? I mean, really, look at me. I am sleepy, I am grouchy, no coffee, no cigarette, nothing. What is God getting out of this misery that I am going through? So there is this love-hate relationship. And this persists. And at the end of it, how is the month of fasting going? The less spoken about it, the better. It is going, bas. But this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He introduces it to us with so much love, So, for example, when something is for your benefit, but it's a little bit painful, imagine how it is. A nurse wants to put injection inside a child. She's not going to grab it and stick it into his arm. She's going to say, come here, sit down, you're a good boy, make him comfortable. And then she's going to say that I'm going to inject you with it. And I'm not singling you out. Before you, your brother, your older brother, I injected him, other people too, right? There is a benefit in this. You will be well after I inject you with this. And then they say there will be pain, but it will be a very small pain. Just for a second. Allah introduces like that Ramadan to us. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Oh, those who I love. There's a difference between alladhina amanu and an-nas. We are the ones who are believers. Allah says you are special. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. I love you very much. Now the injection comes out. Kutiba alaykumus siyam. You are going to have this. Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. It's not just you. People before you, they fasted. There is benefit in this. What is the benefit? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. After this, you will have a new strength. You will be able to resist in a way you could not resist before. Right? You will become closer to me. And then, أَيَّامٍ مَعْدُودَاتٍ. Just for a few days. That's what the next verse says. Just for a few days. Not the whole year. Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doing this to introduce to us? Because He is saying there is benefit in this. And people before you have done this. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, that before me my brother prophets had also been charged to tell their nations to fast. It is not just my nation, but other prophets had brought this, and we know this. Even some other communities today, they fast. And we have that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked nations to fast. But then the Prophet said, but to my nation, Allah has given 5 things in fast He has not given to others. And He said, amongst them is this, that at the end of their fast, Allah looks at their tired faces, at their weary faces. But He sees them as obedient servants. He looks at them. And wallah, whoever Allah looks at, that face will never burn in fire. So it means He looks at with mercy. That face will never be put in the fire. Then Rasulullah said that in this month, Allah instructs the angels to constantly do istighfar for them in the day, and another group of angels to do istighfar for them in the night. And that is a unique honor for my people. Number 3, he said the angels love to come around the people who fast, because unlike what you might think, when the person who's fasting, when they scent from his mouth, they smell them from his mouth, the fragrance of it is more attractive to them than musk. The fragrance that comes for the mouth of the person fasting for angels. And number 4, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks heaven that pray for this one and be ready for him because he is coming towards you. And 5th, Rasulullah said to the one who has fasted and has turned to Allah even once with some regret, before he leaves the month, Allah forgives. Nothing is left. Allah says in the Quran, يَعْفُوَ عَنِ الْكَثِيرِ, I forgive most things. Allah says in the Quran, if you ignore the kabair, I will let go the saghāir. Allah says in the Quran, you have wronged yourself, لَا تَقْنَطُ مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ, never ever lose faith in my rahmah. Do you think that your sin is bigger than my mercy? Do you think that your sin is bigger than? No. لَا تَقْنَطُ مِنْ رَحْمَةِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. Allah is able to change everything in a moment in return for a little bit of remorse and nidama. Bas. So, all this is available. The end product, inshallah ta'ala, and I think our time is up soon, maybe in about 5 minutes or so. The end product that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to get is this taqwa. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ means what? Means if you fast, you will perhaps acquire taqwa. Not that so that you may, sometimes in English you say it has been prescribed for you so that you may gain taqwa, so that you may gain piety. And the translation sometimes we get a little bit confused with or we misunderstand. That is how it is translated, so that. It's like if I say, come to the mosque at 9 o'clock so that you pray namaz-e-jamaat. It means it's a sure thing. Come so that we pray. But la'alla doesn't mean so that way. It means maybe, perhaps, so that perhaps. If you fast, la'allakum tattaqun, so that you may become pious. It means what? Some will, some won't. Some will gain a little bit more, some will gain hardly anything, some will gain great strides. Right? It is available for all, and inshallah wa ta'ala, there are things we can do. The first thing, and I will just start, I notice actually it's 9:05, isn't it? So we have another 5 minutes, inshallah ta'ala. The first thing, and there, as I say, I will roll out a few steps in the night to come and some practical tips. People then can choose what suits them, what sits well with them. But amongst the first things, brothers, sisters too, is to acquire in our hearts a deep respect and awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without that, the journey doesn't begin. Because if in the heart there isn't a great love, a great awe, a great respect, then sometimes, na'udhu billah, we are treating God, as Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, that we are treating God less than the people. Imam said, beware if you find yourself behaving in public with more care than you do in private, because then you have taken God to be lower than the people. Why? Because in the public people are watching and I'm ashamed to behave in a certain manner. But in private, nobody is watching. Allah is watching. Alam ya'lam bi anna Allah yara. Don't you know God is always watching? But if you have found that attitude in your heart, you are in a bad place because you have disrespected God. You have counted Him less, na'udhu billah, than the people. Who are the people? What can they do to you ultimately, give or take? They can't give anything. They can't take anything of great value from you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give everything and can take everything. Right? So, we should inculcate in ourselves that if I have a certain practice I do in public, in private I should do more. If in public I never finish my salat without tasbih, then at home alone, because it's only for God, I should do even maybe 2 rakat sitting for nafilah. Something like this to show, Ya Allah, my practice for you alone is always greater than when it is with the people, because you are greater than what the people think. You know, if you look at the dua in Sahifa Sajadiyah, the whispered prayers at the end, the 15 of them, this is the whispered prayer of the hopeful. In that, the first line is something Imam Sajjad alayhi salam says. Sometimes you think, you know, when you read it, you think there is a mistake, either in the translation or even, Imam couldn't have said this way. You know, he says, if you had not, lawla al-wajib, if you had not made it wajib for me to speak with you, to speak to you, I would not have spoken. I would not. Now, you might say, that doesn't sound right. I mean, we would like to think that even if Allah hadn't made it wajib, we would have thanked Him for all this ni'mat that He has given us. Imam saying, no, if you hadn't made it wajib, I wouldn't. You know what it means? I heard an alim explain it once. He said, imagine that there is a huge palace with a powerful king who sits in that palace. And there is a sweeper outside who sweeps the street, outside the palace. He can't even imagine that he would ever have audience with the king. Who is he? He's a sweeper. He can never be there. But one day, to his amazement, the door opens and the king walks up. Looks at him and says to him, come here, bring me some water. Now can you imagine how that person feels, the sweeper? He is shaking. He had never dreamt that the king he would see the king or speak with him. He runs, he gets water. Even as he brings the water, he apologizes that this is not it's not enough what I have done for you. And then he will say what Imam Sajjad said. If the king had not asked me to speak, I would have never dared to open my mouth. Who am I that I can start talking to Allah? Who am I that can start speaking in this open manner, without shame and without respect and without awe? But He has made it wajib, and that is why I dare. That is why I have the jur'at. Now imagine a man who thinks like this. Imam Sajjad, they used to say about him, and when I was young I heard this, that when he used to do the wudu, he would tremble. And I often wondered, what was making him tremble? He had this awe of Allah that we have forgotten. When we stand in front of Allah, the kind of prayers we pray, the kind of things we say, the attitude with which we do these things, when we know the one we are standing in front can see into the heart. Not just, it's not about me and you talking with one another. If I talk to you and my eyes are here and there, you're going to take it as an offense that this person doesn't have akhlaq. He obviously is busy. If I'm talking to you and I'm checking my mail, I'm checking my text, if your son does that, what are you going to say to your son? Have some akhlaq. Talk to your father properly. Put that phone away. Now you talk to Allah who sees your heart moving here, while you are saying things to Him. And the akhlaq. If we don't have this kind of awe and this kind of idea that we need to pull back and reform, everything else will just happen. It'll be words. We will just be, in the same place. There will be no movement, right? So it has to begin first and foremost by us saying to ourselves, from the very next namaz, Ya Allah, I will speak to you with awe. I will try to inculcate in my mind. And if I don't speak to you properly, I will speak again. I will repeat those words so that I can show you the esteem in which I hold you. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that in this holy month of Ramadan, first and foremost, we can begin with this attitude change. When we have this attitude change, inshallah, a lot of the stuff that we are meant to do, a lot of the stuff that we want to do, will flow very nicely and very naturally, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may help us in this, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Let us recite one Surah Fatiha for our marhumin. Al-Fatiha.